Hey everybody, it's your favorite gentleman. It's Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today you all are in for a very special treat. I have an incredible guest today. This woman is here to help us detoxify our life. And I know detoxification typically talks about health, but this woman does it all. Stay tuned, stay with us, stay engaged. You won't want to miss a second of this powerhouse speaker here on the Gentleman Style Podcast Show to bless us. So here we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show. And today we have Miss Lisa Jendza, and she is a business coach and holistic health coach. Coming to the Gentleman Style Podcast stage, she has endeavored in many different aspects of business, family, and relationships. And she has started business for with 30 plus years of experience coming to the stage. She's a Freedom Kitchen expert and has built that concept brewing for some time to bring together the resources needed for health enthusiasts alike. She is a dynamic change agent and business guru. Miss Lisa Jendza cut her teeth in the business world with General Motors and EDS, leaving a successful career with HP after just 25 years. So, help me welcome to the stage the incredible, the amazing Miss Lisa Jendza.
Thank you for that, Marcus.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me on the Gentleman Style Podcast stage today. You are phenomenal.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, you're making me blush.
It is you. You put in the work, ma'am. You put in the extensive work, and we appreciate you today. Miss Jendza, successful people have successful habits. I always ask this question because it's truly important to follow in the footsteps of greatness. And so I always ask successful people, what is a morning routine? What is a successful habit that you do day in and day out that really sets the tone that you know will set the tone for the rest of your day?
Definitely quiet time, meditation or prayer, and breath work. So breath work, as a yoga instructor, I learned the power of the breath, and we really glean so much about ourselves. We gain so much clarity when we do breath work.
True. Very true. Makes sense. So tell us a little bit about your story. You have a story behind your passion. What drives you? What motivated you to inspire and be a Freedom Kitchen expert and food freedom movement maker, author, and speaker?
Yeah, well, it was a health crisis. So I was very successful in corporate America. I made it to the epitome of my career. I was in consulting with Hewlett Packard, but my health wasn't where it needed to be. And I really believe that when we are striving for success, we need to look at every aspect of our lives. We can't have success in business, but failure in our relationships or in our health. It's really a comprehensive view. So I had to take a step back to look at my health, and through that process realized I wasn't always prioritizing well. I prioritized career and success over not only my health, but even my family.
That's major. And that's so true. We oftentimes put our health on the back burner. I met a mom. She she came in one time. I used to do financial services, and she came into the bank one day, and she was like, I don't care, nothing else matters as long as my baby daughter is good. And I said, well, what happens to you if you get sick? What happens to your daughter, right? Because she was a single mom. And I said, what happens to you if you get sick or you get taken out or you are sleep deprived and you're driving down the street with her in the car? And you're speaking to that, you teach to that, you coach to that. And so that's what you do. And that's why it's important. Why do you think why do you think we neglect our own health, and put corporate America? Because you left. You were a high paid executive. You left the ideal job, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's something about evolution, right? We have experiences in our life that cause us to zoom out. And I saw from a broader perspective that there was a lot of control. I really could see the corporate control, and I could see that this had become a form of corporate codependency for me and for many, which there were other facets of this that disturbed me because I could see the beginning of socialism. And this all started with a health crisis. So I just have to say that God works in mysterious ways. I had to have the breakdown in my health to zoom out to see that I had to put myself and my family first, not the next project, not the next promotion, not the next award. When I resigned, I threw away all the awards. I literally took a black garbage bag so that I could not see them, and I threw away every award because we're putting, these are like false idols. We're placing importance on things outside of ourselves when the importance is here. And so it was a much bigger revelation for me to have the health crisis, and I just wanted to help people get that back. I didn't know how I was going to do that, and then I ended up purchasing a wellness spa where I was doing detoxification treatments and using that time to coach people, to hopefully inspire them to zoom out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Definitely. Round of applause for Miss Linda, y'all. So you brought it up. I have to touch on it. You brought it up. You opened a health and detoxification spa. What is detoxification, and why is that significant? Why is that important?
I'm actually glad you asked me that, because detoxification is something that our body does naturally. So our body knows how to detoxify. There's really nothing or no one outside of you that can detox you. What we can do is provide the right environment for your body to detox. So when we go buy these kits and these boxes, and I always say a detox doesn't come in a box. People go to GNC, they buy a box and they say, I'm going to detox this weekend. Listen, that can actually be very harmful. It's counterintuitive to do that because depending on the state that your body is in, you're actually going to cause more stress. So the mentality, Marcus, in our society these days is we're at war. We're at war with cancer. We're at war with another country. We're at war with a virus. And we've become at war with our own body. And people think that they can just detox their body, and that can actually be very harmful. So what I teach is how to open up the detox pathways, how to get into the rhythm of your body. It's all part of that zooming out. Just like we're chasing the next carrot at work,
True.
we're chasing the next fad pill, drink, silver bullet, and people think it's a detox in a box. And it's not. It is learning how to put practices in place to honor your body and to participate in the rhythm of life. And I know that sounds like an esoteric answer. So I do bring that into some concrete teachings. I developed a 3-month program that I walk people through to understand this and to implement that in their life. But what I really want people to understand is there's 88,000 chemicals in use in the United States, more than any other country. And we allow things like, I have an example here, like this. We allow chemicals in food. Like this is not food. This is a box of chemicals. So we allow chemicals in our food that other countries don't allow. We have chemicals in our skincare and personal care products, household cleaners. And so we have become a very toxic nation, which directly correlates with our disease rate. And people will say, well, I don't have the time or the money for this, but I'll tell you, if you lose your health, you'll spend anything to get it back. So
True.
I encourage people to spend a little bit in order to prevent losing their health.
Miss Linda Jendza, y'all. Mm, Wow. Wow. You reminded me of a powerful quote that said, people spend their entire life trying to get wealthy, and then after they're wealthy, they spend all their wealth trying to get healthy.
Yep.
On the reverse end. So wow. Powerful, powerful. We have one quick commercial break, y'all. We will be right back. Stay tuned, stay with us. We'll be right back. Good day, podcast listeners. This is your boy Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show. I wanted to let you guys know that we will be rolling out a new feature and adding a join sponsor button next to the subscriber button here at the bottom of your screen. Once you click the button, it will display 3 membership levels: Gentleman Gentry, which is our entry level; Duke Duchess, which is our season level; and the Emperor and Empress, which is our most sophisticated level, which you will receive unique perks and benefits at each differing level and gain access to our community tab. We will also be sharing polls, upcoming events, and interviews, as well as receive feedback from our sponsors directly. Your support helps me find new and exciting guests to bring to the stage live. Well, in order to get the higher end speakers, it requires, well, some, you guessed it, money. So thank you for tuning in to my channel. And if becoming a sponsor sounds good to you, then select the join button below and choose your desired sponsor level. Let's continue to grow and serve the future of generations of men and women to come. Love you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, we are back to the Gentleman Style Podcast Show, and we have the incredible, the amazing Miss Lisa Jendza. And if you missed it, she just broke down the definition of detoxification and how our body does it naturally on its own. And in some cases, we can even hinder that by taking all these chemicals and putting them into our body and going to these, buying these health kits in a box, right? Trying to detoxify what our body naturally does on its own. So go back, if you missed it, scroll back and go back and check out that powerful word. Miss Lisa, you co-founded a commercial kitchen and cooking school. And so what are some of the foods? You brought it up earlier. I have to touch on it. What are some of the additives used in our foods that is killing us and hurting us slowly?
Yeah, so we have to start first with the processed wheat. There's a lot of confusion about whole grains because we hear the marketing messages, and I want to call it that. It is a marketing message to eat more whole grains. That is nothing more than a marketing message. So I would challenge people first to say, what are whole grains? And do we even have access to whole grains? Because what we're being led to believe are whole grains are not. It's processed food. And in order to extend shelf life, things have been extremely processed to the point that our body doesn't even recognize it anymore. I would posit that that's why we're seeing more and more food intolerances and allergies created, because we're eating things that are not food. They may be edible products. They're sold in a store as being edible, but that does not make them food. So if you were to put something other than gasoline in your car, how far would it go? You could put water in your gas tank. I don't think you make it a mile. But yet we do that to our body. So,
True.
there's things like propylene glycol. Well, that's found in antifreeze, and that's in all of your processed baked goods. When did it become okay to put propylene glycol in our food?
Never.
So if you cooked dinner tonight for your wife and kids, would you go out to the garage and get the bottle of Roundup and spray it on their dinner plate? Yet we're buying all of this food with glyphosate, and wheat is so high in glyphosate. So we have processed food. Now it's high in glyphosate. We've added things like propylene glycol or ADA, which is a plasticizer that extends shelf life. So that's plastic. Same plastic in a yoga mat. You may as well just go eat your yoga mat. That's in all of your baked goods. And then they use bromine in order as an anti-caking agent. Now, years ago, they used iodine, which is good for us. Every cell in your body, Marcus, has an iodine receptor. What happens when they switch from iodine to bromine as an anti-caking agent is now all your iodine receptors pick up bromine. So you've probably been in a hot tub before and you smell the chemicals that they use, right, to clean the hot tub.
Yes.
Would you have your child drink the water in a hot tub?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, that's bromine. But yet we're using bromine as an anti-caking agent in flour. So we're now feeding our kids. And this isn't even about us anymore, Marcus. I'm in the second half of my life, and I have adult children. This is about the children and the children's children, and living like the future matters, because I think we can do better. And what we've done isn't working. So when you ask me about chemicals in food, I know this is a long answer, and this is where I just get so passionate. There are so many chemicals being used in our food that is destroying our thyroid. We've got bromine that's taking up the iodine receptors in our body. We're putting plastic in our body. We're putting glyphosate in our body that's destroying our gut and our immune system. We're adding food dyes and flavors. Those are all made in a factory. Those are chemicals. So when I teach kids cooking classes, I have them read labels. And if we see like red number 40, I go, does food have a color? No. Does it have a number? Do we say apple number 6? I mean, it doesn't have a number. That's a chemical that comes from a factory. Our food is coming from factories and not from the earth. And that alone should be alarming. Why aren't we having this conversation more about this? Is the movement of Freedom Kitchen and my passion for getting us to talk about what is real food and what are you spending your money on? Because we vote every day with our dollars. So if you buy that boxed stuff, you're telling them it's okay.
Incredible. You are so right. So knowing all of that, now that we've been educated slightly, what's the best way? Or going straight organic? Is instead of the manufactured wheat product, is there a type of wheat like the multi-grain to go down, or what or just going straight organic? Should I just knock out the fence in my backyard and just go straight organic and start crop growing and
well,
growing my
where
own
we are in the
foods?
world right now, I would suggest everybody learn how to grow some food. So I think we're in a very volatile economy, more volatile than we realize. We saw the hysteria last year with COVID, and then like all the flour was gone, and the shelves were bare at the grocery store, and of course there's no toilet paper. But
Paper.
Yeah, so I strongly recommend that everybody learns how to grow some groceries, and I think more than anything we have to get back in touch with nature and Mother Earth, and become aware of what real food looks like. Now, when it comes to organic versus conventional, I would say follow the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. So the Environmental Working Group puts out a list every year that they do extensive testing to tell you which fruits and vegetables have the most pesticides and the least pesticides. So currently at the top of the list, strawberries, spinach, celery, those are on the Dirty Dozen. There are so many pesticides, you cannot wash them off. They are in the seed, they are in the strawberry or in the spinach. So when it comes to something on the Dirty Dozen, especially those things at the top of the list, if you can't buy organic, I'd say don't eat it, because you're eating more chemicals and pesticides possibly than nutrients. And what our body's looking for is just nutrients. We have to give our body nutrients. Anything on the Clean 15, you can save your money and buy that conventional. That doesn't need to be organic. So grow some of your own groceries, yes. We want to get reacclimated to growing food and being in touch with nature and Mother Earth. When you buy at the grocery store, use the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. And then I would say become really cognizant of things you're buying in a box. So if you buy a cake mix, that cake mix, you're not really buying anything that has nutrients in it. Okay, so our body needs nutrients. And as a society, we're overfed and undernourished. So we're eating a lot, but we're not getting the nutrients we need. And if you buy a cake mix, you have to put 4 or 5 things together anyways. You have to add the milk, the butter, the oil, the eggs. By the time you're done, you're adding 4 or 5 things to that bowl. I make cakes from scratch with 6 ingredients. It doesn't take any additional time. And I make mine with almond flour and coconut sugar. And those actually give my body nutrients. So if my family's going to have brownies or a cake, we just make it healthy so that our body is getting nutrients. That's the direction that we have to head in. And you have to remember that the more packaging you use, everything you buy that comes in packaging, that's more packaging that then goes back into landfills and into the earth. We have to look at this whole thing as an ecosystem. What we put into our body also passes through our body and goes back into the earth. So the more we circulate chemicals, you're not just poisoning yourself, you're poisoning everybody.
So true. So true. Woo! Powerhouse speaker, y'all. I told y'all, this lady is phenomenal. She's here to spill some of the tea. She can't spill all the tea. You got to take her class. But man, so you touched on it earlier because you teach the kids and you educate kids on the power of cooking.
Yeah.
That's every parent's struggle. How do I get my kids to eat these vegetables and to eat healthy? If I could turn away all the McDonald's commercials, I would, right? How do you speak to kids and educate parents and the kids to stay away from the junk food? That's an overwhelming difficulty that we all suffer from. What are some tips you can share on that?
So first I'll say that this is a judgment-free zone because I raised my kids on fast food. I was an IT executive. I worked crazy hours and we ate out 7 days a week. So I never judge anyone for where they're at. I totally understand. I have taken it upon myself to make my job that of education and enlightenment because we are an evolutionary species and we've evolved past, hopefully we're evolving past this period of time where we have placed careers as more important than our families. So I like to teach some very basic tips in the kitchen, like having the kids help prepare the meal and the menu each week. And see, all of this takes, Marcus, it takes us just slowing down because we're running too fast with our jobs and our deadlines. And then, of course, all the activities we put our kids in, we got to get them to soccer and to dance class. And so some of this requires us to slow down and zoom out. We're so hyper-focused on what has to be done right now that we need to zoom out and look at a week, look at a month, look at a year, from a broader perspective. I hope that makes sense. But when we get our kids involved in creating a meal plan for the month or the week, and they're part of that plan, and you include them in the preparation, then they're enrolled in the process. And when they enroll in the process, they eat it all because they've created it. So what I find in my kids' classes is that the kids now are talking the parents into eating healthy. The kids want to plan the menu and the meals. The kids want to prepare their own food. And when given a choice, they choose healthy. I start all of my classes every semester. So I do semester long, 14-week segments of cooking classes. And we always start with food dye. Food dye is a chemical. It is terrible for us. So I teach the kids that we don't want to eat things with chemicals, but we could use superfoods to color our food because we all like colorful food. So we can use things like dragon fruit powder or dried blueberry powder or blue magic, which is algae. And we can use that to color our food. And so it's superfood coloring. By 6 weeks into the class, I'll have kids show up for class and say, I went to a birthday party and the frosting tasted like chemicals and I scraped it off. This is what kids will do when they know what real food tastes like and they have been involved in creating with real food. They can now spot the fake food, the chemicals, and they don't want it. I see this semester after semester with kids that they would actually rather have real food.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. That is powerful. Miss Lisa, what would you say to the young mom out there that is on the fence and she's determined to change the trajectory of her own health and her family's health? What advice would you give that young mom, that young girl out in the audience who wants to make a change? Where would you say she should start first?
So that was me. I was 36. I had kids in elementary, middle school, and I had to start with myself because you have to put your own oxygen mask on first. So depending on where you're at, I had to take care of myself. And so I took up yoga. It was very hard for me. Listen, it's really hard for parents to justify any more time away from their kids, especially when they work a lot. So moms have a hard time practicing self-care. And I coached a lot of moms at this when I owned my wellness spa, taking the time for self-care, because what I noticed for myself, now I was never one to take a lunch break at work. So I started taking a lunch break, and that's when I started practicing self-care. So I wasn't away from my kids any longer in the day, but I had to start putting some practices in place for myself, which started with yoga and massage, because I was so stressed out. I had to calm down. I had to get back into my body. And then I had to start changing my diet. And then I knew I had to lead by example. And it took some time. And I had to learn how to become a better cook for them to, if you try to do something too quickly, everyone's going to rebel in the household. If you say, oh, we're going healthy, no more sugar. It's a process. It's a process. But it is a process that requires commitment and perseverance. When you're learning how to shop differently, cook differently, when you become aware of how you're spending, what you're condoning, what you're contributing to in the world, it comes down to what are you contributing to? Where are you giving your energy? And all that is a commitment that is long-term. That's living like the future matters. And knowing that every change you continue to make and build upon will have a long-term benefit. And Marcus, I'll just say this. If you ask any parent, what do you want for your kids? Most of them are going to say, I want them to be healthy and happy. Isn't that all we really want for our kids?
It is.
I don't care what they grow up to be or who they marry or who. I just want them to be happy and healthy. But we sometimes trade in short-term happiness for long-term happiness. Oh, but my child loves a Happy Meal, or my child loves these brownies with these colored sprinkles. So we're trying to give them the short-term happiness, but if we knew that we were feeding them chemicals and that would not provide long-term health and happiness, would we still do it?
No.
This is where we have to start thinking. We have to do some critical thinking about the choices that we're making.
If that didn't touch y'all, she was talking to me, y'all. That I feel attacked, but I need it, right? I need that. Oh my gosh. Powerful, powerful, powerful. We have one more quick, short commercial break, y'all. You guys stay with us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you a local business looking to offer your customers easy access to cash without having to travel miles? We're here to help. At Norman Legacy Investments, we provide free ATMs with free installation that provide a suitable investment for your business. Even better, we offer you some profit sharing and handle everything from start to finish. Just reach out to us today to schedule a free consultation.
Welcome back, y'all. This is Gentleman Style Podcast, and we have the incredible Miss Lisa Jendza changing the trajectory of our health through detoxification and eating better, and eating with a purpose, and eating with a fulfilling life, so we can create the life and live long, prosperous life, because health leads to wealth. And that's what I heard. That's what I uncovered from her earlier speech. If you missed it, tune back in and scroll back, because she is a dynamic powerhouse speaker and she is spilling some of the tea here today. Miss Lisa, you have something coming up at the end of August, something juicy. Are you able to share for my audience today?
Yeah, so it's a summit for this Freedom Kitchen movement where I've amassed some of the leading influencers, educators, speakers, authors, and bloggers. Every single person who will be presenting over these 5 days wants to contribute to the health and wealth of the world. And the way that we do that is by sharing our stories of how we have overcome our health challenges. Every single speaker on this summit, and there's over 45, have reversed health issues, chronic ailments. We're told they would never have kids and went on to have 3. We're told that they would not live another year. We're told that they were going to be wheelchair bound and who were on 10 medications and on and on. And every single one of us got our health back. And you know how we did it, Marcus?
How?
Food. Mostly food. It's our diet in this country has led to chronic disease. And all of the speakers on this summit would agree one thing, and that is most people don't know how good they could feel. So you may be listening to this and saying, well, I don't feel that bad. I mean, I feel normal for my age, because we have these marketing messages or these perceptions. But so you don't even know how good you could feel, because we've had a slow deterioration or decline over the last 50 years of our health. And, the low fat movement was terrible. And they put us on margarine. I mean, I say they put us on because my dad was taken off all fat and was told because of his heart disease that my family had to consume margarine. So I was raised on trans fat. So these are things that we have been told by this establishment, by these marketing messages, that have now led to confusion. And I'm on a mission to clear up confusion. So I have been teaching diet and detoxification and how to get your health back now for 13 years. I've dedicated the second half of my life now to making sure our next generation has better information, because they deserve it. My kids were the first generation on plastic water bottles. And I always use this story because maybe this will help somebody see. There's a movie called A Fault in Our Stars, came out about 10 years ago, about 2 young teenagers who had cancer. And they got their Make-A-Wish, and they went to see an author. And the author didn't finish the book. And she wanted to see why he didn't finish the book. And when she met him, he said, my book has an unnatural ending the way my daughter's life had an unnatural ending. She died from cancer. And he said, you kids are a failed experiment and we failed you. I want that to sink in to your audience, that our generation has imposed things on our children that were never imposed on us, like drinking out of plastic. Plastic water bottles, chemicals, glyphosate, ADA, bromine, all of these foods that are stripped of all nutrients, foods that we're adding things like propylene glycol and food dyes, food flavors, you're eating a box of chemicals. And if you can't understand that, think about your laundry detergent. What makes it blue is a chemical. What makes it smell like rain is a chemical. You're using chemicals. It's no different. Our household products, our cleaning products, our personal care products, they say the average woman puts 400 chemicals on or in her body by the time she leaves for work in the morning.
What?
Yes. And then we wonder why we have Dr. Zach Bush says 52% of all children now are in a disease process. Too many diseases, Marcus. It's too many chronic ailments, and we can fix it and we can do better. Freedom Kitchen Summit, www.freedomkitchensummit.com. At the end of this month, I will have a number of experts with resources to help people.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. You guys, that was wow. Miss Lisa, thank you for that. Miss Lisa, you are incredible. And oh my gosh, you guys, if you have nothing else to do, if you've heard nothing else, you must be to that Freedom Kitchen Summit. You have to be there. And forgive me, I don't have an affiliate link, but it is worth the effort. It is worth the experience. It is worth your time. It's worth your kids' future. Miss Lisa, that is powerful, 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 powerful. Miss Lisa, how can my audience connect with you? How can we learn more from you? How can we continue to grow and experience the train? The train has already left the station, but it's not too late to get on board.
Yes. I'm glad you said that. One of my teachers from 13 years ago has said that. Like, the train has left the station. We are in what many of us saw coming, and that is we've entered the virus era. And if people really understood what a virus was, and that the terrain is all that matters, the terrain of your body is all that matters, then you would understand the urgency of this. And the time is now. So freedomkitchenkids.com. I have my last school year, 2 semesters already recorded. You can purchase those online. They're all videotaped. This is actually approved curriculum. I've taught through the schools and homeschool associations. So I have 2 different curriculums available at Freedom Kitchen Kids in my virtual online classroom. There will be a new curriculum posted in September for this fall. I have my diet and detox program is my adult program. It is 3 months. It requires 3 months in order for you to implement. It is an experiential process. So week 1, week 2, week 3, we're actually making these changes and these shifts in your life so that it becomes your lifestyle. And through this process, you find what's right for you. I will say that there's a lot of teachers out there, a lot of wonderful teachers. I've learned from many as well, but they often teach what worked for them. One of the things I feel that I did successfully is I put a program in place that helps you discover what's right for you. So I walk you through a 3-month program. That starts August 28th. So my 3-month program will run from August to November, which is the perfect time of year. It gets you prepared for the holidays.
Lisa Jendza, y'all, powerhouse speaker, powerhouse, phenomenal speaker. Miss Lisa, thank you. I want to say this public to you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for not giving up on us and this generation and future generations to come. And I want to say this to you publicly. Please don't ever, ever give up. We need you. We need what you're doing, and we need the movement that you're on. So please don't ever give up on us.
Thank you. You don't know how much that means to me, because I've often questioned my decision to leave that corporate job and do this work. So thank you, Marcus.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had to. You put it out there. You put it in the atmosphere. I had to speak on it. Thank you all for tuning into the Gentleman Style. I'm still emotional, y'all. She got me. I don't cry, but she got me, y'all. I hope this message has served you all. I hope this has enlightened you and encouraged you and motivated you to take that leap of faith and take that next step and dive right in, because you, your kids, your family, your future is absolutely worth it. And Miss Lisa Jendza is on the path, and she's paving the path for us to follow along. So I'm going to put her website out, link as well, so you all can connect with her. She's on all social media platforms, and that's by her name. Very, very strategic branding, and I love it because it's very easy. It's her name, Lisa Jendza, Lisa Jendza, military, JENDZA.com. She's on social media where you can find her. Powerful, powerful, powerful. Like I end every show, take care of your families, take care of your friends, and always, always take care of business. This is Marcus Norman of Gentleman Style Podcast Show, your host and your favorite gentleman, and Miss Lisa Jendza of Freedom Kitchen and the Freedom Kitchen Movement. Be there for that summer or summit or be square. Love you guys. Bye.